Kandi Koated Nights. Tune in, we wanna hear from you. Kandi Koated Nights. It's showtime. You made me use Magnum on your lifestyle ass. Next time, no thanks, cause the D is trash. You might wanna start watching KKN. Sex and relations, where the hell you been? Huh? Sucker.
Is it ready?
Oh, okay.
What up, what up, what up, what up, what up, y'all? I am your girl, Kandi, and to my right, we have the beautiful Nikki Nicole 08. And to my left, we have the DJ A1. And then, on my far left and my far right, we have our first guest of the evening, Denise Stokes. On Twitter, she is at Denise Stokes. And then we also have somebody who's visited us before, and we told you she was coming back, Jeselle Ellie. Jeselle is Eli. Sorry. I'm so sorry. And her Twitter is just Jeselle. Okay? Now, and then we have a full house tonight. Okay? All right. Together we are Kandi Koated Nights. Yes. Now, as we do every show, I have to start off by saying, if this is your first time ever watching Kandi Koated Nights, I gotta let you know that this is a show that we love to talk about sex and relationships, but we mostly talk about sex.
Busting it up.
So all of you people on there who, like, oh, you shouldn't be saying this, I don't want to hear it.
Tune out, okay?
Tune out.
Everybody's
but those of you that are gonna stay, I want to let you know we have to promote safe sex, safe sex, safe sex. With that being said, this is why my first two guests are here. Yes. Jeselle.
Jeselle.
Hello.
And you brought along your friend, Denise.
Hey, Denise.
Hello, Denise. Okay. Now, the first part of the show tonight is called Live to Tell HIV and AIDS.
Yes.
And you have something to tell.
Yes. Okay, sure. Well, I mean, it's not normal or usual for me to just talk about it so quickly, just be like, oh, I'm positive, but that's what we're here for, so let's get to the point. So basically that's the story. I'm HIV positive, and a lot of my work that I do, as well as Denise, is to go out in the community and do a lot of advocacy work and share about safe sex and prevention and awareness so that we can get this statistic of especially the African Americans in our community to lower. Right. It's a really big problem that there are so many African Americans, especially African American women, that are being infected at this rate. So we've got to do what we can to be responsible and share the knowledge.
Yes. Right. Yes. Now, okay, let me ask you a question, Denise. This is my first time ever getting a chance to meet you. So, how was it? Like, how long have you known that you were positive? Are you positive?
Yes.
Okay, I didn't want to make an assumption. I'm sorry. Okay, so how long have you known?
I got infected with HIV when I was 13 years old, the very first time I ever had sex, and this is my 30th year of living with HIV.
Wow. Really? Wow. So can you kind of give us some, rules or things to live by to, make your life how you've lived such a long life? What do you do?
Well, I think the first thing Jeselle and I learned is getting a handle on your status. So if neither of us had ever got tested, we wouldn't have known that we were HIV positive. And I run across so many people who, for whatever reason, they just don't think getting tested is important. Some people say it's because I've been married for 20 years, or I've only had one partner, or I've only had two, or it doesn't matter. If you're within the sound of my voice, if you're tuned in to Kandi Koated Nights, if you've ever had sex in your entire life, even once, you should be tested for HIV. So I think one of the things that promotes prevention is people knowing their status. Because what if I didn't know? And I've been living with HIV for 30 years. Can you imagine? Not that I'm that easy to get or I've had that many boyfriends, but I'm just saying, can you imagine the rate of HIV spreading? So knowing what our status is. The second thing for me was, I got infected at a time where we didn't have medicines, we weren't protected by Americans with Disabilities, there were no Sister Loves, no Aid Atlantas, no places that we go to really for help. And so first of all, as a black woman, trying to convince people that this is what HIV looks like. This color nail polish, these shoes, this is what HIV looks like. You have to stop disconnecting it from what you think is pretty, what you think is attractive, what you think is popular, what you think is happening. HIV happens in every single circle that we live in. Mm-hmm. And for me, being comfortable enough with myself to understand that I'm a human being, I'm not a disease. So that took me out of shame mode to be able to, you know, meet a guy and say, hey, what do you do for a living? I do this. Oh, what do you do? Oh, I'm an AIDS advocate because I have HIV. And to be able to say that. Right. We have to stop people from not saying it because it's so important to make disclosure safe.
Okay, I'm sorry. I got another question. I didn't want to cut you off. I wanted to let you keep going. But you were saying it's so important for people to get tested, which I just got tested, you know, last month. So, you know, I definitely want to put it out there. Everybody should go get tested. But my question is to you, since you were 13 when you caught the disease, what I was trying to find out, what made you go get tested at that young age?
Nothing. It was the grace of God. Because at that age, you know, and I actually found out that I had it when I was 16. I figured out that I got infected when I was 13. But the way I found out was trying to go into the military. You know, lots of things. You know, life kept happening even though HIV is like at the center of my life and it kind of took over for a very long time. Other things happened. So I had a troubled relationship with my mom. One thing led to another. Ended up being like one of these homeless teenagers trying to figure it out. And I thought I'd go into the military because that would give me the opportunity to maybe, you know, go to college, get a career, do something with my life. And it was a requirement for going into the military. You know, so I often think, like, what would have happened if I wouldn't have gotten tested then? How many years would have gone by? So Jeselle and I, and every advocate out there, we just want to plug in your head how important it is just to know your status. And, you know, if you don't think you're ready to know, there are so many people that love you so much more than you can imagine. There is nothing that HIV will take from your life that you don't let it take from your life.
Well,
dig that.
Thank you for giving us the real. Now,
y'all can smile. I mean, you know.
No, can I say something about this being a serious topic? So we've had this conversation that you know that this is a serious topic. And yes, it is. And we've had this conversation. So a few weeks ago, I was at a conference and Deepak Chopra was there and he was doing this meditation with us. And the last question he did in the meditation was, what kind of world do you want to leave for your children and grandchildren? And immediately I thought, I want a world with no stigma and no ignorance. And the only way that we can do that when it comes to HIV is that yes, this is serious, and yes, we need to approach it as a serious matter, but at the same time, we've got to live lighter about it. We've got to have fun and fulfilling conversations with it, because if you're getting educated and you're fearful, if you're getting educated and you're scared, when you go into your relationship and you need to sit down and have this conversation with your partner, who wants to have a scary, fearful conversation and then have scary, fearful sex? I mean, what fun is that? You know, so it's like you have to be lighter, open up, and just be more comfortable about it so we can have these conversations more frequently.
Gotcha.
I agree.
Yeah.
Now, the other thing that I found interesting, well, at least when you and I were talking, I had not had a conversation with you yet, but you still have relationships and a sex life of your own.
Absolutely.
And I know some people find that to be like, okay, so how do you approach that, you know?
Well, for one, let's just put it out there. You can still have a freak number of 10 and be positive.
So your freak number's 10.
It's close enough. It could be more.
So what is it?
It's 8.
Oh, good. My lucky number. Good for you.
Awesome. I could use some more freakiness. But what am I saying basically?
Like, I mean, well, what I'm asking you is,
yeah, what are you asking?
You know, to be able to just meet a man and say, okay, and just be upfront and honest. Because I think a lot of people, you know, for one, I think people are scared to get tested because they're scared to know their status and they're scared of what other people would think if that were to come back as positive.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So, like, okay, what's the next, what do you do? Like,
okay, well, for one, it takes practice. I don't know if you've experienced this, but it's practice. Because I know from day one, it's been almost 9 years for me, and from day one, I've always told every partner that I'm with that I'm positive. It was kind of tough in the beginning to figure out when was the right time to say something. Was it before we have sex? Was it after we have sex? Was it before we kiss? I mean, there was just so many little things to figure out when is the right time. And then also how to say it right in the beginning or to have a conversation, let them know me or let them know my status. So with time, I've definitely looked at relationships and looked at people that I've met and said, okay, is this actually going to go somewhere? Are we actually going to have sex? Do we need to even talk about this? So more often than not, I say it probably within 2 to 3 times of getting to meet the person. And I've just become good at it. And I also think about myself. I wouldn't want to have sex with someone and they not share with me what's going on in their life.
Of course.
So what is the reactions that you get?
Yeah, that's like...
What are most of the reactions you get? Like if somebody you're dating and you like them, and you're faced with having to tell them, your status. Tell me about that.
Okay, well, basically, there's definitely a range. There's the range of, I've had a guy actually tell me he was going to drop me home, and after I told him, he walked. I don't know, we were arm in arm all day, and after I told him, we walked maybe like 6 feet away from each other. Wow. He dropped me on the corner of the street, wouldn't bring me home.
Oh my God.
Wouldn't even bring me to the subway station, just dropped me on the corner. So that's like one extreme. Then there's the extreme of, girl, I'll still, So it's like you've got everything in between. The funniest, and it just blows my mind, I still laugh so much about this, is this guy, and I told him, and like he was, we had our conversation, because usually I disclose, and then we have to have like an educational conversation so that they get what's going on, they understand more, because most people don't. Right. And so his response after, we got a little intimate was, girl, are you sure you got AIDS? Because you taste like strawberry ice cream. And I was like,
and there you have it.
Wow. I mean, that was hysterical to me, and I just started laughing. And
so, what does it taste like? If you
apparently, to him, it was strawberry ice cream.
No, not yours.
No.
I may have said that
wrong. Sorry. Okay. So, what was your experience? Well, okay, you know what? I say experience like you've only done it once. I don't know. Have you had sexual partners since?
Yeah, I have sex.
Okay, fine.
Speaking to the mic. Speaking to that.
I don't know if my mic works, so I'll speak up.
No. The people out there can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah. Your mic sounds nice.
I think I've had, like Jeselle, I've had different experiences. I've been, because I've lived with HIV so long, it's like I don't remember what life was like before, because like 11, 12, 13, that's not about womanhood. I came into my womanhood with HIV. I learned about sexuality, already HIV positive relationships. And so for me, it's been a matter of discerning the different, for me, sometimes I say that HIV is kind of a great litmus between finding out who has some substance and who doesn't. Because it's like, I don't want to liken it to the same thing, but it's almost like when you're a single mom and you got 1 or 2 or 3 kids, and then you have that moment where you go, now, how's he going to respond when he finds out that I have kids? So you kind of know whether this is just a player running by and he doesn't want any responsibilities. Does he really want to take the time to get to know you? So in a lot of ways, HIV does that for me. It discerns the difference between somebody who's open-minded, somebody who listens, somebody who's aware of issues, somebody who's willing to learn, somebody who wants to know me beyond the wham bam, thank you ma'am, because that's not what I'm about anyway. So it's nice that you have this pause that says, seriously, if you don't get that my body is worth something, that I love having sex, I love being in a relationship, but I love to love it with somebody who's special enough for me. So guys, for me, sometimes get it twisted, because HIV positive or not, I'm still the one doing the choosing, so you better bring it, because I'm looking for certain qualities.
Okay. You better bring it in.
And the one I have now brings it.
All right. Whoa. Okay, so the man you have now, he's not positive.
No.
Really?
Yeah.
So and that's
and she want to know if you do it raw dog. That's what Kandi trying to get to.
No, that is not what I was.
That's your question.
No, that's what you were thinking.
That's my question. Do y'all do it raw?
Is
that too much?
How does that work?
I just want to know.
How does that
That's
work?
curious minds.
So let's talk about that. Let's talk about HIV positive and condoms and not condoms.
Okay, cool.
Here's the general rule. knowing that you're HIV positive, it's really important to use condoms. Here's the second thing. With everybody's sex life, once you're educated about HIV, you know your status, you know that your partner is educated about HIV, you two people make a choice on your own as to where you want to go with that. Because it's called serodiscordant couples, where you have one person who's positive, one person who's not. And so lots of studies have been done on people who've had HIV with extremely low viral loads, and they found that, you know, it's really very difficult to transmit in some cases, like from a woman to a man. It's very different with a man to a woman because you have, we talking wrong?
No, this is an open show.
No.
We another question when you're done.
All the way real.
Yeah, we go wrong. Pause.
The reason it's easier for a man to give it to a woman than a woman to a man is because when a man is positive, the virus is present in his semen, and because our body is the receptacle, so then you basically have this virus sitting there with an opportunity to really kind of get busy, take hold, go where it's got to go.
Oh, Denise, I got a question for you, girl. Let me tell you something. What I heard on the streets. Now, this don't mean it's right. Now, this somebody told me, like, if you're lubed up and if you're having sex unprotected and it goes in versus you not being lubed up and you tear skin, you have a higher chance of getting the virus when you tear skin versus when they slide right in.
Well, yes, actually, one of the questions you guys had was about anal sex, and that's why anal sex is actually one of the most highest transmitted rate of HIV is through anal sex, because your anus is so tight, and you go and you bust open in it, and it's like,
So I heard on the street, right?
yeah, I mean, you open your skin, it becomes,
Oh, sorry.
it's all right, you break skin, and then there's that contact, there's that friction, and then, you know, there's that more opportunity to transmit the virus.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
See, these are the things we need to like talk about more comfortably, because as an educator, you know, having worked in the field for like 21 years and done testing and all this stuff, I get all the really private, secret, panicky questions. So don't you think it's better now that we talk about this stuff now,
Right.
while you're not sitting there going, oh my God, last night, oh my God, last night.
I don't know. And here's the answer. If you want him to, no, don't scratch it. If you want him to put it in the booty, well then put it in the booty, but put a condom on, get some lube, and get it right.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, if that's what you enjoy, enjoy it.
Cover it, lube it, stick it.
Interesting.
That is. All right.
Okay. All right. I need you to ask the question.
Okay, do people with HIV have a certain look?
Okay, so the answer, obviously, from how we look, no, we don't. But I will say, when I first found out that I was positive, I immediately thought, but how can I be positive? I don't look like anybody who is.
Right.
The only awareness to HIV I had growing up was on World AIDS Day. Once a year, everybody comes and they do this little assembly in the auditorium. You sit there, you watch people who are drug addicts that look a certain way, this way and that way. And I'm like, I don't look like any of them. How am I positive? This doesn't make sense. So, you know, I started going to support groups, and then I realized, okay, there are a variety of people that are positive, and I guess I do fit because there is no look. So no, HIV doesn't look like anything. HIV looks like this. Okay. HIV looks like you.
Right.
Let's put it like that.
Second question, okay. Is there less of a chance to get HIV/AIDS through anal intercourse? We answered that.
Yeah, we answered that.
Okay. Are gay men more liable to attract HIV/AIDS more than heterosexual couples?
You know, I have a friend in the audience who's positive and gay, and I would love for him to answer that question just to have a gay perspective.
Come
Tommy,
right on up.
can you answer that question for us?
You want to come up? Or you want to go to the mic, or you don't mind? Come over here. Hurry up, hurry up.
My purse. It's Miss Giselle's purse.
All right. Borrow your microphone real quick.
Oh, okay.
Say your name and your Twitter name so everybody knows.
Tommy, I'm not on Twitter. Not my thing. Not my thing. My name is Tommy. I am positive. When I found out I was positive, my mother had just died, and I literally was already diagnosed with AIDS. Once I started changing my thought process and started realizing that it's your attitude that plays a big part in it is when I started living my life differently, making different choices and different decisions. I was once engaged to be married. I came out of the closet shortly after. The question was phrased that can gay men or gay people get it more easily than a heterosexual? Anyone who is a human being is at risk, period. So take that stigma out of your head, because that is exactly when you're going to become infected, is when you assume that it's my problem. It's y'all's problem.
All right.
Okay.
Just scare the shit out of us, why don't you? No, just kidding.
I
So
take it he does
actually,
this
You
for a
need to be
living.
scared shit.
I spoke.
I know, right?
So I spoke to my doctor a few weeks ago, and one of the things that he said, which really stuck out to me, was that in medicine there are no guarantees.
Right.
99.9% of the time, if something could happen or it couldn't happen at the same time, that's 1% of the time, 0.1% of the time that it could or couldn't happen. Right. So there's always a possibility, and when it comes to sex or whatever, there's always a risk. So just be aware of that. Nothing is guaranteed in medicine.
Well, the
Last question.
can I say something on that note?
Sure. Okay. What?
I just feel like, it's just sad that when you have sex that you have to think about babies, STDs, and it's supposed to be something that's enjoyable, but people, please think about it. I know you're having, kissing and everything feels so good, but please think about it. That's all I have to say. I'm sorry. Public service announcement.
I don't think that it's sad that you have to think about it, because it's just a part of. It's like when whether you're having sex for the sake of, you don't want to be committed, you just got somebody that you're kicking it with, or whether you're dating for like a really, really long time before you even have sex because you want to be married before you have sex. Wherever you are in that range, talking about all this stuff should be a part of the pleasure of getting to know each other. Because look, we know how to tell people, I want it fast, I want it slow, I want it soft, I like to kiss like this, I don't do it like that, won't you do this, this is my hot spot. And we are so comfortable that because it feels good, we want to vibe with that person like that. And something like, do you have HIV should not throw that off. It should be a natural part. What's your name? Oh, how you doing? Oh, where you been? Oh, where'd you go to school? Oh, I like it like this. Oh, HIV part, when was your last test? It should be.
But it's not. But it's not. People are scared, especially
And that's why we're
African
having
Americans.
this.
I'm saying, like,
Well, listen.
they're scared to talk. People are scared to talk about chlamydia. You know what I mean? Like, people are scared to talk about basic stuff that you probably got in high school. You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, people want to kiss, and it's just something that I think, like, us as, I can just speak as myself, that's just something when you're in the mood, you're not like, it's just hard to speak on. You know what I mean? Because you're thinking like, well, damn, I'm already sucking my stomach in. I'm doing this and doing that.
Right.
Now I have to say, you know what I'm saying?
No, I totally get it.
Okay.
I get it.
Okay.
Well, I think that
What do you think from a man?
I think that to go back to what you said that it should be normal, right? Well, you've been positive since you were 13, so it's become your everyday life. Like it's normal for you. Nowadays, the normal question is, do you have any kids? You know, motherfuckers not asking you, are you HIV positive? That's just not what the fuck we rolling on the dice on.
Right.
So everything you're saying is right.
Right.
And what you all are doing is definitely right.
Right.
You know, bringing awareness to the situation, but the fact of the matter is that's just not how people are thinking. So I understand where she's coming from. She say it's sad that we have to, you know, per se fuck up the mood because,
Right,
you know,
that's what I'm saying.
It's like, goddamn, we went from saying, do you have babies and do you have condoms to, do you have condoms because you might have AIDS? Or do you have AIDS? Like, if a cat honestly asked the chick, does she have AIDS? 9 times out of 10, what would you say?
You said, what would I say?
That is so stupid.
What do you mean?
No, but like, what would you be thinking? Like, if a cat just be like straight up and down, be like, so are you HIV positive?
Well, I would be glad that he asked the question
Yeah,
because it
that's
make
true,
it easier
too.
for the conversation to come along.
So then, but what would come after that?
I mean, I don't know. You tell me. You seem to know.
I mean, I'm just asking.
Well, the
Because
reality
I don't
is
get
for
it.
her, because she has been tested, so she knows her status. The conversation is that, well, actually, I don't have HIV because I have been tested. Have you?
Right.
Right.
You make a good point.
Yeah. Nothing will set the mood like 2 weeks later when you get your lab work and you know it's positive.
Yeah, that doesn't fuck up a
Nothing
mood.
mess up the mood.
That fucks up a
The
whole
life.
world. Like this one.
Life.
Yeah,
But here's the thing too, that looking at it from that perspective, like I'm gonna be straight up with you. There are 48 million people worldwide have been impacted by HIV. There are more people that have died with AIDS than, you know, if we took the people who have died with AIDS and laid their bodies end on end, it would circle the globe 3 times.
Wow.
Yeah.
So many times, not in every case, but so many times, it depended on going through the little bit of discomfort of when does this question come up. That's the difference between a life of me and Jeselle trying to figure it out and getting to that place where we're empowered, or, you know, going through that channel where we're thinking, am I going to die tomorrow? Do I have to take this pill? This makes me feel like this. Will I be able to have children? The difference between having that little bit of discomfort of that question and 48 million people who've been impacted by HIV. And I'm going to tell you something else. As a positive woman, HIV is not my responsibility. I do this because I got as much love for you as I do for me. But what I'm waiting on is for people to have enough love for themselves, because I know my status. I never have to tell anybody I'm HIV positive except the person I'm in a relationship with. It's not my responsibility to go fight at the White House like I've done and march and preach and funds and write and talk and speak. That's what I choose to do, because I know that so many times if I could just get people comfortable enough to say it's not that much of a burden, I could save a life. But it's really your responsibility. Yeah. Like, it's really your responsibility. Nobody can give you HIV unless you were raped or somebody ran you down and injected you with a needle. You have to, like, be a 50% party to it, either by not asking, not using a condom, or not getting tested, and just lay down and have sex.
Basically not giving a fuck.
Well,
I mean, shit, we gonna be real in here. Let's be real in here.
Well, I mean, she definitely gave us the real.
She definitely
gave us the real.
And I thank you for it, okay? Great.
Now, I know normally on Kandi Koated Nights, we love to laugh, talk, act crazy, whatever. But we definitely wanted to take a break and start off the show with something real. Because, you know, hey, if we have this platform, we should bring attention to something that's important to everybody.
And we've been talking about this statistics here in Georgia for the last 2 or 3 weeks.
Exactly.
That 1 out of 6 African American women is affected with HIV and don't know it in Georgia.
And also, is it right that Georgia is a condom-free state? Is that what you teach?
What?
No condom.
They didn't tell us
No,
that.
not condom-free, but like the government. You live here, so you know. But it's a state. The government here.
We can't. We're not allowed to. I believe in, you know, mandatory K through 12 HIV education, but we don't have that here. We don't have that here. We can't go into schools and talk about condoms, even though we don't go into schools passing them out, you know, like little bags of candy saying, here, this will save your life.
When did that start?
We have to talk about we have to talk about abstinence only as a means of prevention by law.
Which won't help, because if that's the case,
which means that we can't directly reach the kids that are already having sex. We have to talk to them outside of the school system, which is why you see us out in the corners with our bags. It's not because we don't want to, you know. One of the things we do, I'm one of the BET Wrap It Up spokespersons, and so I'm happy to always have the opportunity to go into schools and talk about, you know, HIV and AIDS and sex a lot more candidly. But as a general rule, you know, in Georgia, we don't get to talk about condoms in schools.
Wow.
Heavy.
I didn't know that.
Me neither.
Okay, so before we move on to our next segment of the show, I wanted to ask you ladies, like, okay, I'm going to go to you first. How do we reach you? When are you going to be appearing next? How can people get more information from you?
Okay, so you can reach me on Twitter at justjeselle. My website is also www.jeselleeli.com. It's JESELLEELI.com. And on there you can sign up and you can actually get feedback and all kinds of cool stuff. I'm going to be going to Africa for the next year. So I'll be working there and volunteering with an organization called the Grassroots Soccer Organization. So I'll be documenting all of that and sharing with everybody what the experience is like. So that's how you can reach me. And Facebook, Jeselle Eli.
Okay, how can we reach you and where will you be next?
You can reach me on Twitter at Denise Stokes, and also my website is denisestokes.com. I actually am currently touring as a motivational speaker, as the BET Wrap It Up spokesperson, and right now we're really busy with a new book I just released, From the Crack House to the White House, that has the story of me going from, you know, being homeless and making really bad decisions, and talk about, you know, different issues like rape and poor relationships and poor choices, and in other words, giving a message of empowerment and self-esteem and HIV prevention, you know, within the context of a story. And so we're really busy traveling with that. So,
thank you. Let's give it up for them. We really appreciate everything that y'all doing and for being so open and honest.
Thank you so much.
And I definitely would love to have you back again at some
Yes.
point so you can give us a little bit more information. Definitely.
Yes.
All right, so we are going to take a quick break. But before we do, let me tell you, I have two special ladies coming up next. First and foremost, Evelyn Lozada. And everybody knows Ev from VH1's Basketball Wives. Right now she has a new book that I'm currently reading.
All right.
It's good.
You've been reading that book for 3 weeks.
First of all, I've not been reading it for 3 weeks. Okay? I've been working a lot. That's the only reason why I have not finished it yet.
I'm a slow reader, so
this
is not
no,
bad for 3 weeks.
No, it's just I honestly just started reading it a few days ago, and I'm halfway through it.
Was this planned? The nails, the book, and the dress?
No, it was not planned. It was not planned. But anyway,
It was planned. Don't worry about it. Go
Evelyn has this new book, and I'm going to let her talk about it when she gets here. But it's a very good book. And then we also have Mama D in the building. Yeah. And if you had a chance to see VH1's Love and Hip Hop Atlanta version, the premiere episode, I mean, I think everybody I know was talking about Mama D. Yes. So I am so honored to have them both on tonight's show. Twitter, The Real Mama D and Evelyn Lozada. They are both. Yeah, THA, meaning the
ghetto style.
Let's Real Mama D. They are both coming up next, so please, please, please don't go anywhere and retweet.
Mama D.
I want to give it up to our guest from earlier tonight. She does have a book as well. In the first part of the show, we had two young ladies to talk about HIV and AIDS and living with AIDS. And Denise Stokes, she has a book called From the Crack House to the White House. Turning obstacles into opportunities. I would love for you guys to support her because what she's doing about, spreading awareness about HIV and AIDS is some real stuff, and we really need to support people that are doing something positive. So please go get her book as well. Follow her on Twitter. It's Denise Stokes. And then we also want everybody to follow our other guest from earlier tonight, and her name is Jeselle Eli. Her Twitter is just Jeselle. I'm gonna tweet all of their names, all of their Twitter names spelled correctly. And we have, I'm your girl Kandi, and we have our wonderful audience in the building. And I guess we'll see you next week, right? Together we are Kandi Koated Nights.